Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Concho Sports Insider. I'm Arlen Ponder here with this motley gang who have just told me I'm completely wrong in most of the information I have. So guess who's running the show tonight? No, not really. But I've got Chad Miller over here, Paul Whitwig, and
Andrade.
Arthur Andrade. Thank you. I was about to change your name completely. So
it must be Amber or something.
That's it. How'd you guess? He was about to be Amber Smith.
Oh, look at that.
You know, hey, there you go. Okay, so we're going to change it up a little bit tonight. We're actually going to talk about the district, since the district playoffs, the district games are on the line coming up. Wall and Central got a game. No, Wall's got a game tonight. Lakeview's got a game tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. Central does not.
There you go.
See, they blew me away just by saying I'm wrong. So, now I'm all befuddled and everything. But what do we got? Let's start with District 4 2A Division 2. What do we got, Chad?
For District 14 2A Division 2, the only reason why we were really highlighting this is because to give one specific team attention. That's Junction. Entering this, they believe they're on a actually, they've already started district play, but going through the list, of course, you have LaPryor, Brackettville, Junction, Sabinal, Centerpoint, Dehanis. Obviously, as we mentioned already, Junction is the one we want to highlight. They're actively 5-0 in their non-district play, and they're set to start their district play this weekend as well. Looking at the rest of it, a couple teams already in action. LaPryor and Brackettville have already picked up district wins this season, while Centerpoint and Dehanis were the ones that took the L's in those matchups. But hey, Junction's the one we were looking at.
Yeah. Junction, last year they had their best season in program history, going 12-2. They picked up the first loss was actually their only loss last year, was in non-district play before obviously their loss to Shiner in the regional final. Their first loss came to Mason in non-district play. So last year they went undefeated in district. Kind of expecting the same thing this year from them. They are, again, really good this year. They could go undefeated in the regular season. I think that's obviously a goal, that's something they want to accomplish this year and build off of last year. So Coach Scott Freeman's been there for, I believe this is his 4th or 5th year now, and he's really built this program up from, they won 3 games and then 2 games, and then right after that they've been near the top obviously the past 2 years. Right now they're the 5th team in Division 2 in the state, so they're really rolling right now. I mean, I can't think of Brackettville's always good in that district. Sabinal's good this year, so I think those 2 teams are probably going to give them the most trouble in district play, and as long as they take care of business, they should probably come out with the district championship.
Yeah, looking at the Eagles overall, of course, mentioned 5-0 entering ending non-district play. They actually have a bye this week, and then they'll start district play next week when they host Centerpoint. But look at their non-district schedule. Open the season at home, defeating Goldway 40-16. And they hit the road, beats in San Saba 20-6. And then a couple solid matchups. At home against Early, 34-14. And then on the road to take on the Punchers of Mason. And actually took down a pretty solid Mason team that has been very successful in the past. 27-16 before just giving a whooping on Fall City, 48-zip. So obviously, I mean, they're rolling. They went off 12 wins last year, rattling a couple more, and they want to go undefeated, I'm sure. But, you mentioned those other 2 teams, Brackettville and Sabinal. Brackettville enters the 2-3 non-district record. Actually opened up with 2 straight losses to Comfort and Cotula. Both pretty tough losses, 43-19 and 35-6 respectively. And then got their first win of the season against Brooks Collegiate Academy, 52-14. And then also lost to that same Fall City team in a very barn burner, 7-6. So a little bit of baseball playing in the fall there. And then just coming off a big victory against Dehanis, beating them 63-6. They actually will continue district play this weekend when they host LaPryor. Looking at Sabinal, very similar situation. 2-3 on the season, but picking up wins against Harper and Brooks Collegiate Academy. Pretty respectful wins overall. Harper was only a 2-point win, while losing to Dilley, Bernie Geneva School, and George West, all of them by pretty big margins. So they do have some solid players over there, but we got to see how it all works out. And then we look at just a little quick look. I completely forgot how big this district even is.
Oh, yeah. It's a pretty big district, and it covers a lot of space, too.
Yeah, and it covers a lot of space. And, those teams aren't necessarily in the Concho. No. So let's, in the interest of time, let's
Yeah.
rock because we got a bunch of them that we
Yeah,
want
we
to
do.
get through.
Got a whole
So
lot.
let's roll through. Let's roll into the next one. 7-2A Division 2.
Yeah. In this one, our main look is, though we talked about in the past, Winters, Miles, and Hamlin are really the main culprits. Of course, we already mentioned those three. The rest of the districts rounds out by Albany, Cross Plains, and Roscoe.
Abilene schools.
Yeah, a lot of schools coming through non-district play. The ones we mainly cover, Miles and Winters have had slow starts, 1-4 and 2-3 respectively. While Hamlin is really the main one showing up right now, 4-1 on the season, while Albany sits at 3-2 behind them.
Yeah, I mean, Albany was state ranked for most of the season this year. They only fell off after their loss to Coahoma 2 weeks ago, I believe that was. And that was, Coahoma's a much improved team from a couple years past. But yeah, Albany's kind of ruled this district for a while. Obviously, they're state contenders and regional contenders basically every single year.
Every year.
With Denny Faith as their head coach. So they're the ones to beat in this district. And, Miles has tried to topple them for the past couple of years, when they had really, experienced teams with Haven Book. And, last year they had a really experienced team with Tevin Mead and a lot of other Cooper Ellison, the wide receiver, the really great wide receiver out there they had forever. And now this year, again, they kind of did have a slow start, but they had a really tough non-district schedule. So I kind of expect them to sort of pick up the pace here during district and collect some wins, and kind of expecting the same thing from Winters. I think this is a much improved Winters team from years past. Again, it's not quite showing in the win column yet, but they schedule a pretty tough non-district schedule as well. So kind of expecting both of those teams to show wins in this district schedule coming up.
Well, hey, and Winters played Frost, so
Right.
the Polar Bear Bowl there. So yeah,
The Ice Bowl.
the Ice
Ice
Bowl.
Bowl.
But talking about Miles, they start out the season with Albany.
Yeah.
They very, very easily. I hate to say it, I don't think that they'll win that game. However, you look at the rest of that schedule, you're looking at Cross Plains, Hamlin, Winters, and they're going to end it with Roscoe. That could be the game that
Yeah, the
decides.
Roscoe game.
Yeah, could
absolutely.
decide a lot of where they fall and maybe if they can go to the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I think for the past 2-3 years, it's really been Albany, Miles, and Roscoe kind of fighting for that 2-3, and then a combination of Hamlin, Cross Plains in that 4 spot. I kind of see that playing out again this year, maybe with Winters actually jumping into that 4 spot if they really challenge Hamlin. And, again, Hamlin has the better non-district record, but I really do think Winters scheduled a tough non-district schedule that got them to kind of where their record is at this point. So really, once the games start mattering here, I think both our Concho Valley teams are going to show up.
I agree. Well, let's jump next to 4-2A Division 2.
Right, yeah, and this one, and I'm going to read this from bottom to top in terms of non-district record. Right now, Sterling City, the unfortunate Ophir at the bottom in the basement, followed by McCamey, who we've covered a couple times or this show, as they've just played a lot of closer opponents in terms of our care for. Van Horn, El Dorado, of course, that was one of the main ones we hinted at. Wink and Iran. Iran, my apologies.
Iran, yeah.
This is where it always butchers me. I may be Texan born and bred, but I still get these wrong. Who is currently on top with a non-district record of 4-1.
Yeah, and sorry, you look at this, you've got El Dorado, Van Horn, Wink, McCamey, Iran. All of those are long drives.
Yeah.
Whether you want to be on a bus, whether they're coming here or you're going there, all of them are long drives.
Yeah.
Which takes it out of you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like going to Anthony like some of them were a few years ago.
Right.
But with the exception of the El Dorado,
Right.
all the rest of them are long drives.
Yeah, Sterling City and El Dorado are pretty close to each other. But outside of, again, Wink is a far drive. That's north of Medessa up there. So, but yeah, I mean, those.
Van Horn by El Paso?
I love that he called him Medessa.
Van Horn's like 2 hours outside of El Paso or 3 hours outside of El Paso.
That's just not fun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, for the past couple of, I want to say 10 years at least, Wink has been kind of the dominant team in this district. Iran has really challenged them, I think, in the past couple of years as well, despite being a small team. I think their enrollment's only around 101 kids, and, those are 6-man numbers, and they're really putting a thumping on bigger schools. They really beat Reagan County pretty big this last week. So those are kind of the two top dogs right now, and then I think, El Dorado, they schedule a really tough non-district schedule with Ozona, Harper coming to mind as at top of mind there. So I really do see kind of how I saw it at the beginning of the season with Wink and Iran there at top, and then El Dorado sitting in that third spot. And for the fourth spot, Sterling City, again, Coach Luker didn't really have control of the schedule this year, unfortunately. No. So they had a tough non-district schedule. But I think they, with that, you come in more prepared to face teams kind of around your size. But, that fourth spot, I think, is going to be a battle between Van Horn, McCamey, and Sterling City.
I can see that.
According to the rankings, yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So let's go now to, that was 4-2A, right?
Yep, 4-2A
Let's go to
D2.
5-2A.
Yeah, 5-2A D1.
We got a battle at the top.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of teams entering with non-district records of 3-2. Our main reason for covering this mainly just Ballinger being about a 45-minute drive outside of San Angelo. And I'm sure I'll be corrected that there's somebody else I should care for here. But outside that, going from bottom to the top, Coleman with the 1-4 records and the numerous 3-2s of Banks, Ballinger, Hamilton, and DeLeon, and then Heiko, if I'm saying that correctly.
You're saying that correctly.
With the 4-1 record up at top. Obviously, as we keep talking about, and we'll definitely talk about it when we get to the 6-8, talking about Central District, non-district schedule is important to see kind of how they're tested, but it's not end-all be-all. We've seen teams go 5-0 in non-district and then just go outright lose the rest of the season. And we've seen teams go from the bottom of the barrel and just smoke through district because they had tough schedules, of course, hinting at the central conversation towards the end of the show here.
And you see those teams that do that kind of stuff, they all seem to gel at the right time, which, that's something talking about Central. Coach Smith talks about all the time is gelling. You want that team to gel. You want them to play good in non-district, but you want to make sure that they gel and we don't get anybody hurt in district. Right. And that's a tough district. Bangs came back against, I believe it was early, or it was one of the teams, they were down. I was watching the stats and went, wait a minute, Bangs they're going to kill them. And then Bangs comes back and wins at the last second. And I went, wow, that's crazy. And, it's just, like you said, the only reason we really talk about it is because it's Ballinger.
Right.
But hopefully with scheduling realignment coming up, which we're going to do a realignment show probably later this year, you're going to see hopefully them come this way versus going that way. So what do y'all got?
Yeah, I think obviously Ballinger's the big story for us in this district, being the Concho Valley team. I kind of see this district. This is a tough district. I know De Leon right now is 3-2, but they've been the state-ranked team for the past couple of weeks. I think they just fell out this week. Hamilton has kind of they were the up-and-comers last year. They were the really good team that came out of this district. And, they lost a tough one to San Saba last week. But I really do feel like it's those kind of two teams at the top. And then, Ballinger, they've just faced so much adversity in this first, couple of weeks here, non-district schedule. They're on their third preferred quarterback right now. And they've got a lot of other injuries. They had an injury to their star running back linebacker before the season started. So the fact that they've come around and won 3 out of their 2 games in non-district is a good sign that this team is really heading in the right direction, headed into district. But this district is so tough. I know Coleman's got the 1-4 record, but if you look at their non-district schedule, it's insane. They just got off a game against Collinsville, who has just been a state power there in Region 2 for a long time. They're really good, and I think Coleman sort of did the same thing last year that they're doing right now. I think they may have lost every single non-district game and then go in to district and they get the 3rd seed, beating Ballinger. So I think they're always tough to look out for, and I think Bangs is a much improved team from last year. The fact that they've already won 3 games indicates that. So Ballinger's really going to have their work cut out for them, but I definitely see them fitting into the playoff picture somewhere.
And I was looking, that game that I was thinking about was the Great Creek game, where Great Creek was leading all through the game, and I'm like, Great Creek's got this one. And then Bangs came back. Very good team. Great Creek's a very good team.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about them here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
I want to go to one more district back up a little bit that we haven't talked about, and that's that Water Valley district. And I can't remember, Paul, help me out here.
District 8 1A Division 1.
I was thinking 14 1.
1A Division 1.
Maybe it's because it's in your notes somewhere.
Yeah, it probably is. But the game that I'm circling on my calendar
Water Valley, Robert Lee.
is the one with Robert Lee on the 24th. That's going to be probably the decider of the district.
Yeah.
Both teams are currently state ranked. That's going to be a mean little district out there.
Yeah, and in those 6-man districts, two teams
go.
get into the playoffs. So it is truly a fight and a battle whenever, again, 2 state-ranked teams meet up in district. I mean, you really don't get that too much.
Just like the 80s, remember?
Yeah.
We remember.
I remember. We don't remember.
Yeah.
The 70s was just one team, if I remember right.
I think
But
the 70s were
was
one
2.
team.
Yeah.
Maybe two in the
now look
70s.
No.
And now look,
Four
was it
make
just
it.
one?
No.
Yeah, it was just one. Okay.
They two made the playoffs as champs, and if you got second, you didn't know.
You basically kissed your sisters.
Those are 17 districts, 18 districts.
Like the Cowboys did the other night. Anyways, okay, moving on. 3-2A Division 1.
Yeah, this is the one that we've been covering all. Of course, we don't have a chance, the opportunity to cover these games in person, but we talk about them each and every week because of the top 3 teams in this district mainly. But going from bottom to top, 0-5 Colorado City, 1-4 Forsan, 2-3 Reagan County, 2-3 Cristobal, and then the 2 powerhouses that seem to be early favorites, 4-1 Sonora and 5-0 Ozona. I mean, if y'all heard this each and every week. This Ozona team is absolutely special. I'm very excited to continue covering them on the show each and every week, just because of just the absolute craziness that they're able to pull off each game. And of course, it all runs to that running back. But my goodness, he's a fantastic player.
What an incredible player.
Yeah, I mean, he's on pace to break the state rushing record by week 2 of the postseason if they get there. So that's all you need to know, I guess. Christian Villarreal won Ford Player of the Week in week 1, and I think he's been nominated every week since. They can't give it to him every week because you gotta, there's
So
a lot
many
of
schools in this state.
there's so many schools. You got to give the award to as many kids as you can possibly do. But I think he had an opportunity to win it every single week. He's been really special this year. He's already passed his season totals from last year. Again, he got hurt sort of in the middle of district there, so wasn't really able to finish out district and really get rolling in the playoffs. But I think as long as he stays healthy and that line continues blocking like they have, they've got a real shot to go far into the playoffs. I don't see them not making the playoffs, and I know that might be a little bit irresponsible to say at this point, but I don't see him missing the playoffs.
Yeah, and they open against against Reagan County. They open against Reagan County next Friday night. And this is going back to what I was going to say at the beginning before I got completely off track. This week is the bye week.
Yeah.
You try to find a team to cover this week, or even go out and watch a game,
There's
not much out there in the state of Texas, unless you go to El Paso, and then they've already been playing 3 weeks of district because they've got 19 teams in each district. But so finding some of these teams, but everything's going to kick off on the 10th. Everything kicks off on the 10th for a lot of districts. Most districts.
A lot of these teams are going to figure out who they are that first game.
Yeah.
And I know it's a really important game for Reagan County and Ozona. Is that first week? I know Reagan County last year was Coach Brown was really excited to get that win at Ozona last year because they thought the year before they let that one go, and that's what cost them the district. And I think I think, this will be another opportunity for, obviously for Reagan County, who has played some tough teams as well, to, in their non-district schedule, really make a statement. And obviously, it's not hard to get motivated when you're the underdog going into a game. So I definitely know that they're motivated. I know Coach Brown loves living in that underdog mindset, and he's definitely looking forward to this matchup.
And it's what's cool about this, and you're definitely right. Reagan County definitely has an underdog matchup. They know that they're playing with house money in this matchup. Like, they know they're favored in everything. We can do whatever. But I do want to give credit to Ozona, of course, not only just for Christian Villarreal, but also just the little adversity that they face during the non-district play. We're talking about a game with them and Brady a few weeks ago, where we're like, hey, like, this could be their first true test, and it was. It was a dogfight through the first 3 quarters, and eventually Ozona ran away with it. Yeah. But like, it was a dogfight. I remember covering our game whenever Lake was playing Lamesa. We were here in the studio, and I was looking it up. I was like, oh, hey, I'm talking about Ozona. And I'm like, oh, it's a 7-point game. It's a 10. It's a close dogfight. I could not compare it to some of the other early matches they had. So, like, I do understand that obviously everybody else is going to be pretty much like trying to grind the teeth to get their tests at them. But Ozona's been tested, and I, quite frankly, unless a greater power decides to make things different, I just cannot see Ozona not winning this district.
I would definitely watch out for, if you're Ozona, obviously watch for Sonora.
Right.
Coach Weston does a fantastic job down there in Sonora, and he's always got that team ready to compete and make the playoffs. And, again, before, when I got here to San Angelo, they were the team to beat in that district with Edgar DeLuna and Jaime Butron, both of those guys. Edgar DeLuna's the most recent one. He was the running back. He had 2,400 yards and 32 touchdowns his senior year.
Craziness.
So they've got some running backs in this district in the past couple years, and that's really how you win games in this district, is if your running game is good. Reagan County was the same thing last year. They were able to run the ball with Jarrett Brown at quarterback, and they kind of want to do that again this year. I mean, if you can run the ball in this district, you can win some football games
for sure.
And Sonora Ozona game is the 17th of this month. So
that's 2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks. And like you said, we love Coach Weston because he loves us.
Right.
He loves seeing us walk in the door. What do you want? Concho Sports? Okay, here you go. We love seeing that. But the game that I have circled on my calendar is Ozona Cristobal on November 7th.
Yeah.
That is going to be a game. Cristobal could come in riding where they could go, hey, let's make a scene here. And we talk about that all the time, but any given Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when the teams are the enrollment is this close.
Yeah.
When the enrollment is this close, you get into district, it really is any given day, any given week. And yeah, Cristobal, I really like how they bounce back that an 0-2 start and then get to 2-2, and then unfortunately drop a tough one at Mason. But again, they played a tough non-district schedule, and I really think they got the offense going, especially the passing game. And I've always liked their defense the past couple of years. I think they're just really scrappy. Last year they beat Ozona to get into the playoffs and drop Ozona down to that third spot rather than Ozona competing for a district championship. So I just think they're really scrappy, and Forsan, they've got one win, but that one win is against Stanton, and they've played post ropes.
Yeah,
I mean they've
they played some crazy.
Yeah, they've played probably the hardest schedule of any team in this district, and again, that is no slight against any of the other teams' schedules. They've all been difficult, but Forsan, they like to do that. They like to play that really, really hard non-district schedule and come in and challenge for the district. And they got a great ground game there. So I think, man, it's going to be a tight district race. But I really do see it playing out. Ozona, Sonora, Reagan County, Cristobal, Forsan, Colorado City.
Yeah,
I can see that. I can see that too. All right, so let's jump into the 3As now.
Oh yeah, finally escaped all those smaller districts. My goodness, there's
3A Division 1.
Okay, we jumped up. Okay. Yeah, 3-3 Division One. Of course, the main one we look at is TOCA San Angelo. Unfortunately, 0-4. Not having the. We thought they had one, but Ballinger came out strong and never looked back. Nonetheless, going through the district, TOCA San Angelo 0-4, Sweetwater 1-4, Breckenridge 2-3, Comanche at 3-2, Clyde at 4-1, and then the main. I mean, of course, Clyde will compete, but the main, probably the favorite to most people, will be Jim Ned, who's also 4-1 with that one loss coming to Wall a few weeks back in what was a
shellacking.
It was a shellacking, but it was very hyped. It was a so it was a preseason. It was a top 10 matchup within their respective divisions, of course. But still, it was. I believe Wall was 2 and Jim Ned was 9 at the time, or 8.
Yeah, there was something.
And
like
it was a heck of a game. Of course, we got a chance to hear it because we were here covering Lakeview Lamesa while our boy Russ was over in the other studio. And
who can't hear Russ?
He was giving us the play-by-play of the century, covering the game. So it's so hard to not. Obviously, I see Clyde with a similar record. It's so hard not to think Jim Ned, because with that one loss being to a Wall team that's looking like they're going to compete for state again, like I can't see it. Now, of course, got to give Clyde their flowers. 4-1 for a reason. They're here for a reason. But it's like Jim Ned, I don't know.
Well, don't count out that Comanche team.
No, they're scrappy too.
They're scrappy. Yeah. And you've also got Sweetwater.
Yeah.
Never count out Sweetwater.
I never count them.
And Breckenridge, back from whenever, Art and I were little boys, Breckenridge was always, those Buckaroos were always.
The Buckaroos?
Yeah,
that is
they're
awesome.
The Buckaroos.
Buckaroos.
Basically, what it sounds like, TOCA is screwed. It looks a little tough for them right now.
But TLCA, the offense is starting to, I talked to some of the kids, offense is starting to gel. They've got a good game this weekend that if we were picking a game of the week, I would say it might be that one, because Grape Creek, TLCA, always a rival. Mm-hmm. The boys always get up for it. Of course, so does the Eagles. Right. There's trash talk going back and forth already. This district is just tough.
Yeah, it's a really tough district. When they got put into this district, it especially at the point that TLCA was in, when just hiring a new coach basically at that point, it was tough, and they knew it was going to be tough. And I think as long as Coach O and the Eagles see progress from last year to this year, keeping the games closer. And I think that they've seen that even in the non-district schedule. Sure, they haven't won a game yet, but the games are so much closer than they were last year. Mm-hmm. And as long as they can continue to see that progress, I think you got to be optimistic that, within a couple of years that this program will really be competitive.
Yeah, and that's one thing that a lot of schools don't realize, my alma mater included. Brownwood, they fire Sammy. What? He's a winning coach. The team that beat him out of the playoffs that year is now the number 2 team in the state and will probably compete pretty handily for the state title. Let that program build. Yeah. Let that coach work and let that coach get his people in place so that, who knows, in a couple of years, Jim Ned is going, wow, we got to play TLCA. We don't want to play them.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll be in that district anymore, but, realignment's coming up. Stranger stuff has happened.
Right.
But
I've definitely seen that.
Yeah. I think with me, we got Jim Ned. I'm going to take Comanche, Clyde, and then Sweetwater, I think is the way I see it. Sure. Because Sweetwater's playing decent ball, but they're not.
Yeah, they picked up that big win against Idalou week 1 and then just have kind of struggled. Mm-hmm. I mean, and again, Idalou's a really, really good team in 382. I mean, Wall's playing them this week, and I think it's my game of the week. And, I always think that the Wildcats get up whenever they play Wall, and it's definitely could be a postseason matchup. They could see each other in rounds 2 or 3 in the postseason. So, for Sweetwater to pick up that big win, I think it was by double digits. Honestly, it was 44-21, something like that. But if they can get back to playing like that through district, they really could challenge Clyde, Comanche for that 2 or 3 spot. But, Jim Ned, they lose to Wall, and then they turn around and beat Holiday the next week. And, I mean, it wasn't close between Jim Ned and Holiday in the first half. Holiday kind of made a run there in the second half. But, now Jim Ned's back in the top 10. So they're just always a great football program. And until I see years where they're down, like multiple years, not just 1 year, I'm probably going to pick them to win that district.
So you look, they lost to Greenwood, they lost to Seminole, they lost to Estacada, they lost to Wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
They didn't play shabby teams.
No.
All of those, and a couple of those are up teams compared to them. So, you're getting trounced by some of those teams. Yeah, as a player, you're there going, do we have to go do this every week?
Right.
But
this is where it starts to pay off.
That's right.
Yes.
This is where that starts to pay off. This is where leaning on those linemen, things like that, start to pay off. So let's move on to another 4A. 3A.
Division 2, yeah.
Division
this is
2.
of course, one of our main broadcast partners being Wall. We'll go from the bottom, work our way up to the top. Of course, if you're not living in a rock, Wall's 5-0 currently. But staying at the bottom right now, 1-4. San Angelo Grape Creek, 3-2. Kind of been one of the bigger surprises early on this season. However, in terms of overall record, they're fourth in the district, which is saying a whole lot. Merkel 4-1, and then a 2-5-0 at the top. Coahoma and a Wall, both at 5-0. Obviously, I know a lot of you are going to be like, oh, this is Wall District, da-da-da-da-da. But, I mean, like, it's shaping up to be a pretty hectic district here coming up for the Hawks here.
Yeah, Wall should be favored to win this district. They've earned that at this point. But Cahoma's a great team. They're really, really good, especially defensively. That's what I've noticed about basically every team in this district is, especially the ones that we cover, Wall, Coahoma, and Grape Creek, they all play defense. Every single one of them plays defense. And so for Wall, if they can put up a good showing against Coahoma, who has beat Wink, and then they beat state-ranked Wink, and they beat state-ranked Albany, if you can beat those teams, you can put up a fight against Wall, and I think they definitely will this year. They're without their all-time leading passer, Coahoma, Boyd Cox. He got hurt in the first week, so they're on their backup quarterback, and they're beating teams like Wink and Albany. So I think, to me, the district comes down to those two teams at the top, and then I really do. Merkel's a much improved team from last year. They finished last in the district. I think their load's better. They're really young. They can throw the ball well. They've got some pelts on their wall in non-district, and I think Grape Creek's really going to have to fight them and play great defense, which I know they're capable of doing.
It's funny you mentioned Merkel, because if I remember correctly, during our season preview show, I don't think I gave Merkel a chance in hell to be able to do much of anything. So the fact that they're 4-1 is absolutely insanity. Now looking over the shoulder here, looking at the screen, three teams in particular are definitely playing defense. Wall, Coahoma, 30 and 37 points allowed respectively. Grape Creek's at third place with 81. But then you see a little discrepancy. 121 from Merkel and 133 from Stanton. It's obvious that three teams are seriously playing defense right now. The other two, I'm sure they probably are to an extent, but they might have that Lakeview treatment where the defense is not as well as the offense is.
And all of those teams, with the exception of Stanton, have winning records.
Yeah.
Stanton's 1-4. Grape Creek's 3-2. And Merkel 4-1, and then Coahoma and Wall both 5-0. It's going to get down to some cutting here pretty soon.
Yeah, there's a real chance Coahoma and Wall play each other in the playoffs. Now, again, that would have to, Coahoma would have to beat somebody like Canadian to get to that point.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But, again, Region 1 has been Canadians for a while up until Wall beat them last year. I think Region 1 now is pretty dominated by Wall. But
I agree.
Again, this Coahoma team is, I think, it really shocked me how well they're playing defense. This is a team last year, they have 35 points a game, and right now they're sitting at 8 points a game,
I
want to say off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And so, and again, it's like, okay, if they had an easy schedule where they're not playing state-ranked teams, they are. They're playing Wink, Albany, I'm forgetting some off the top of my head right now, but those are the two that stand out. They played Fort St. in week 1, obviously, in the Howard County Bowl, but yeah, that's going to be a really fun game to watch whenever they play, and it's going to be at Kahoma this year. So Wall's got to watch out for that one. They got to make sure that they're ready and up to play that.
Yeah, we were just looking to see what they could. Oh, there it is. Defense here.
Oh, there we go.
So
I don't know. Do they do points per game?
I mean, in worst case, we can do the math. They've only allowed 38 points per game.
they've only allowed 38.
30 points per game through 5 games. I mean, that is quick math. That's
7, 8 points?
Yeah,
So,
7
You were
points,
right,
whatever.
8 points.
Yeah. It's absolutely insanity. I mean, that 2 strong defenses are in this district alone. And
I think
see it
it's
work out.
I talked to Grape Creek defensive coordinator ahead of the season, and he said, I want this team to have the best defense in the district. And right now the numbers don't show that, but I do think they're one of the best defenses in the area, and there's a lot of teams here, and there's a lot of good defenses.
As we've gone through, there's a lot of teams here in the Concho Valley and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree. I think this is gonna be a fun district, especially that game with Wall. And I'm excited to see how it plays out as the season goes on.
I am too, and it's a great district because it does have rich heritage.
Yeah.
And that's whether you talk about, we're talking about the Little Southwest Conference here in a few minutes. Rich heritage that you just can't get away from.
Right.
And you build that winning is contagious, and you get that taste in your mouth and you don't want to get it out. Grape Creek, Merkel looked pretty doggone good last week against TLCA. It's going to be a fun ride for them.
Merkel's really young. Their quarterback's a sophomore, and he's got at least over 1,000 yards passing at this point. So, and the whole team around them, they're a bunch of sophomores, juniors. They're really playing well, and I think again, give them a little bit of time and give them some confidence, and they'll give everybody problems this year.
I agree. Let's jump to the next district. You can go ahead and call it.
Yeah, this is all me and Arthur's here. District 3, 4A Division 1. Of course, if you don't recognize my voice or our faces, this is Lakeview's district. Right now, in terms of non-district or overall record, Lakeview sits up top, 4-1. But let's go from the bottom, work our way up. Pecos and Andrews sitting at 2-3. Maybe a big shocker. We'll talk about that in a second. Big Spring at 3-1. They did have a game canceled against Lubbock Estacado.
Bel Air.
Bel Air. My apologies. One of them. There's many Lubbock schools up there.
El Paso Bel Air. Sorry.
El Paso Bel Air.
Paso Bel Air.
There's a
Eventually,
million.
I'll get it right.
There's a million.
There's a million El Paso schools.
Okay. Anyway, that's why their record's off a little bit. And of course, Lakeview with a 4-1 record, just taking their first loss of the season last week against Loveland. I mean, what is there to say? If we're being honest, unless you were inside with the program, I don't think many people expected Lakeview to be able to come out here and do what they've done thus far, averaging over 40 points a game offensively. Now, their defense has slipped the last couple weeks, as I'm sure, as my partner and I have witnessed detailed. But the team overall has been phenomenal. We actually had a chance to talk to offensive coordinator Tony Cortez on Monday's Chief Insider Show. And first off, that was a fantastic conversation with Coach Cortez. He gave us so much insight on this program as a whole and why they're successful offensively. We got into why this team was able to have 9 different reliable targets for quarterback Chris Leviza to throw to, and also Chris's development as a quarterback after getting thrusted in after an injury last year and just taking it by the horns this year and rolling it. But look at the district as a whole. I know we'll talk about Lakeview as many times as we want to here, but of course, start with Andrews, 2-3. I mean, it's been a little bit tough for Andrews, but it's because they played some pretty tough competition. Smoked Clint at start of the season, and then had rattled up three straight losses to Canyon at home, Midland Greenwood on the road, and then Wichita Falls Memorial at home. Both those schools played up.
All those schools, very good.
Yeah, and then just got their bounce back win at Monaghan's on a 3-point thriller last week. Big Spring, unfortunately, don't have any stats on paper because Max Prep doesn't like me like that. But they are 3-1, losing to El Paso Riverside to start the season, and then beating Lubbock High at home. And then on the road at Borger, apology if I'm saying that wrong.
Borger.
And then beating Snyder most recently in a high-scoring thriller. And then the last team in this 4-district playoff for 14 districts. Pecos, kind of on the tail end of things in a way. Beating Snyder 36-2, fun times. But then losing to Levelland, Fort Stockton, beating Kermit, and then just now getting smoked by Midland Greenwood. I mean, obviously, I know I've talked a lot about this. I'm going to give you an opportunity to give Joe's opinions, but I love Lakeview in this. I feel like this is Lakeview's district to lose in all. And now, of course, I know you're going to tell me you can't doubt Andrews. They played a really tough schedule, and maybe that's the case. But I'm behind my boys this year. I don't think anybody expects them to get this far, and I'm going to keep riding till the wheels fall off.
Well, hey, and that's the thing we have to do is those are our boys out there. Mm-hmm.
Andrews,
I think it's going to come down to that final game of the season.
Here,
for them,
that's going to be here too.
For here, yeah. So I think it's going to come down to that final game of the season where somebody's going to walk out and go, "That's right. Yeah, we owned you tonight."
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be an own. I don't think it's necessarily going to be an own, but I think it's going to be one of those where it's going to be a 40-49 kind of game. It's going to be that 50-49 game like it was. And I've said all along, if Lakeview can make it out of this 3-game span right here with Lubbock, with Levelland, and with Burnett, that they can come out. If they come out at 3-0, that would be great. Coming out 2-1 would be even better. Jumping into that district, that's
3-0 would have been awesome, but unfortunately it's not going to be 3-0.
Yeah.
I mean, it was close. Honestly, I was down there on the sideline. Braylon had that ball in his hands, and it just kind of popped out there when he felt. That's a hard catch to make.
Yeah.
And, again, Coach Guevara will tell you, and anybody will tell you, they shouldn't have been in that position in the first place.
Right.
They had opportunities to win that game. And, kind of going on the defensive side, they're in position to make plays. It's finishing those plays. That's what I talked about with Coach Guevara in my press conference, is finishing the plays that are there.
Wrapping them up.
They're there. I mean, I watched it all game, and you can watch it on film. They're there to make plays. If they make those tackles, they hold Levelland. And again, I think kind of the play that is sort of surmises that was that touchdown where the Levelland quarterback,
running back and forth
in circles. You got Lakeview defenders there waiting for him to sort of run into them. He's not going to do that.
Yeah.
He's going to sit there like he had all game, and he's going to find someone who comes back over the middle. Now, is that an advisable thing to do as a quarterback? No. I never want my quarterback doing that.
Never.
But sometimes it works out, and it worked out. So I think for Lakeview, I really want to see how aggressive they are, especially defensively against Burnett.
To see it.
Mm-hmm. If they're aggressive against Burnett and they come out here and make a statement and beat Burnett, and again, people are like, "Oh, Burnett's 1-4." They have played some incredible teams, and they are always good. Do not be fooled by non-district records.
Not to mention, Burnett's probably the strongest defense that Lakeview's seen all year. They've held 3 of their 5 opponents to less than 14 points this season.
And one of those being Fredericksburg. They had the 7 points, and Fredericksburg was ranked at one point in the season.
Yeah, so this is going to be Lakeview's strongest test against offense against their defense. Yeah. This should be the game, if there's any, that Lakeview's defense gets back on track, because Burnett's playing with a backup quarterback. They're playing, and their offense obviously on paper, yes, they play some fantastic teams, but on paper it just isn't gelled yet.
Yeah.
And you need to take advantage of the opportunity. This is where you need to be aggressive on defense. This is where you need to be able to push them. Don't give them second chances. Don't give them scramble job opportunities. Just go hit him and wrap them up. Yeah. Every single coach you talk to each and every week on Chiefs Insider tells us every single time, tackling. We need to be better at tackling. And we see him. You said it. I've said it. He sees it every single day. He's called it out multiple times on our broadcast. They are there. Yeah. We are there to – I see 3 blue jerseys in the area. Nobody makes a stop because nobody's wrapping up to tackle the guy. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to go for the shoulder tackle. They're trying to go for a little stiff arm pushover, whatever. They just got to be able to wrap up. As soon as they start wrapping up and securing things there, there's a good chance Lakeview sits here undefeated still going into this Burnett matchup. But they have to be able to stop the scramble drills, be aggressive on defense like you said, and just wrap them up.
Yeah, and talking about Burnett, they're in that district with Stephenville, Brownwood, Lampasas, Marble Falls. That ain't an easy district to walk
not
through.
one bit.
That's Murderer's Row right there. The only thing that they could do is add La Vega, and that would be, that would be
And we'll see a realignment what happens there.
Oh, man.
highly possible that could be that whole district. But
Move the districts back to where they used to be.
yeah,
Yes.
Maybe.
yeah. So
Especially if they get rid of Division 2, right?
They
Or-
might. There's
they
a
might.
chance.
yeah, there's talk.
That
So,
would be insane.
like I said, we got a whole show planned coming for that. But let's finish off with the.
Do you want to? Should we predict this one a little?
Oh,
bit?
yeah, sorry.
We kind of want to go with it.
Go ahead. Somebody
I
jump in
mean,
there.
I'm sticking with my prediction. I got Lakeview. I truly believe that Andrews will be second still. I really believe it's going to come down to that game. I think both teams are going to come into it undefeated, and it's going to be a barn burner. And then I believe I'm going to have Big Spring and Pecos. I think it's how it's going to round out.
I think I would go with that too. I think it,
I mean, we still got to prove that we could beat Andrews.
Yeah, no, that's right. And that's what I'm saying. That it comes down to it, but I trust
Hopefully,
that
I'll
this
be trained.
offense, this offense is proven time and time again that even though you start slow, they scored 7 points in the first half against Levelland, and then they only lost by 7 after giving up 21 points.
Had the
in
last
first
play
half.
to tie it.
Exactly. Like they were in position to tie it and potentially go for a win. You know, this offense, there's nothing wrong with this offense. Coach Cortez doing a fantastic job installing new plays each and every week. That we're seeing, I'm noticing the different RPOs are doing, the different sets, utilizing what they've done week 1 to fake out the defenses for week 4 or week 45. Like, it's phenomenal. And this offense is working on all cylinders. It's just about the defense. That's the only question mark this team has right now. And if they can step up, I think they can beat Andrews.
talking about Coach Cortez, where did he go to school?
He coached in school, but I don't know where he went.
Where did he go to college?
Sounds like somebody trying to flex a little bit.
Anyway, okay, so also Coach Cortez, great coaching background.
Oh, yeah.
Coached at De Leon, coached at Command Sweetwater. He's got that pedigree, and he said whenever he came in several years ago, give me time. What did we talk about earlier in the show? Give those coaches time to develop that.
Phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Would have thought.
What a thought.
This isn't the NFL or college football where a lot of the people already know the fundamentals of football. This is high school, middle school, high school. These kids are still learning the fundamentals of football. And I'm a big proponent of letting coaches have a much longer leash in high school. Let them develop these kids. And I think Lakeview is fine. Everybody has been, for the past couple of years, Lakeview can't do this, Lakeview can't do that, And yeah, sure, their record wasn't showing that, but I think especially last year, you really noticed a difference. They had 4 games where they lost by a single score.
Yeah.
This year they have 1 game where they've lost by a single score and a game where they've won us by a single score. So if you just let Coach Guevara, let Coach Cortez get time, you're not always going to get your immediate satisfaction of winning whenever you change a coach. You can ask, basically any coach that or any program that. And I think Lakeview is really reaping the benefits of what they've sowed up to this point. And for this, I'm still going to pick Andrews as first in this district just because I think they've got Elijah McCoy at running back. He's that dude. He's a difference maker. They run the football. That's what they do. And until I see Lakeview finishing those plays against big running backs, again, they struggle against Lubbock High to bring down that running back. Bo Davis, who's a great back.
That guy's special.
He's a great back. He's not Elijah McCoy at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Andrews, Lakeview, Big Spring. That's going to be the game to me is Lakeview Big Spring. If Lakeview can really show out against Big Spring, who has size, Big Spring has a ton of size. They're experienced on the outside, and then I got Big Spring third, and then Pecos fourth.
Yeah, and that game against Big Spring is the Halloween game.
Yeah.
There in Big Spring. So, and I want to say something about Lakeview because I was calling the game 5 years ago, and there was this great D lineman named Juan Ortiz. And I ran into Juan the other day, and he goes, "Do you remember whenever you called that and he intercepted the ball. He had 3 sacks that night. Big Beef intercepted the ball, running down the field. He gets so tied up that the ball slides behind his back, and he's running down the field with the ball behind his back, and he fumbles it, and one of the other Chiefs picks it up, luckily. But, big man running to the house with the ball and getting so excited, all he sees is green and fumbles the ball. So, Juan, good job. I appreciate that. It's one of my fondest memories of calling a football game. As an old D-line coach, that was great. So, moving on to 6A, the Little Southwest Conference. If you're not familiar with it, it's the Central Conference. Conference has, and actually during realignment, it's probably going to get blown up a little bit.
We'll see. I think kind of the expectation at this point with Wolfforth and Friendship getting a new school, that Wolfforth Friendship will go down to 5A D1. Do they keep 5 teams, or do they bring?
That's if they keep the D1, D2s. Then they go straight to 5A, 6A.
Well, 4A.
I
think the rumor is the top 6 and 5 are going to go to Division 1, Division 2, right?
Yeah. That so 6A would stay the same basically, but so 5A, 4A, 3A, all the way down would adopt essentially the 6A method. So I don't really think there's a way for. Unless they unless they adjust the brackets a bit, which they could if they had a 7A, which is also a possibility.
There's talk of that.
Which is also a possibility, but they could keep it at 5 teams. They could move up Del Rio. There's a million things that UIL could do.
Could move an Abilene team in.
You never
know.
There's a chance.
Stranger stuff is happening.
Adjust the numbers to whether you have 7 or 8 teams per district.
Yeah, or you ask Abilene to be like, hey, we need to make this district work. Would you be okay with moving up in football? That's what Pecos did in Lakeview's district. They've got D2 numbers, so there's a chance something like that could happen. But for this year, I'll jump us back there.
Get us back on track.
Because I could talk about realignment all day. But
trust me, you'll get your chance.
You will.
For this year, weird year for the Southwest Conference, Little Southwest Conference. Not a whole lot of winning going on in non-district schedules.
No.
But
they're playing a lot of good teams.
Teams, in-state, out-of-state. You name it. Somebody in the Little Southwest Conference has played them. Permian right now, I think, is in first place. I believe they're 4-1.
4-1,
yeah. I kind of predicted that they would have a good year. I don't think that they've played as tough as the schedule as someone like a Midland Legacy, for instance. I think Midland Legacy, Coach Smith was joking at our press conference. He was talking with Legacy's head coach. He goes, so yeah, you guys start out playing the Cowboys, the Packers, and the Sooners. How do you feel like playing against us? And they basically have. They did that last year, Legacy. They played that really just brutal non-district schedule, and they come out and. Again, that was
and go 5-0 in district, right?
Go 5-0 in district. Last year they went 4-1, and Friendship ended up winning the district. Don't think that's going to happen this year. I think Friendship has lost a little bit too much talent in there. So I still think though Legacy has kind of shown that history of winning in that district recently. Obviously, in the past, it's been a combination of Permian. Legacy and Central at some points, but yeah, I kind of see Legacy winning this district this year with Permian right behind them, and then, I think Central really has a shot at that 3 spot.
That's what I'm saying.
They really do.
I have a shot at 4th spot.
3 or 4, 3 or 4. They've got a shot at. I don't love. How Friendship's playing.
Even Midland High is ranked ahead of them, according to Max Previs. But
I think they can. I really do think they could beat Midland High. Midland
High should be able to.
Yeah, they swapped to that flex bone system, and I think Central's defense this year is good enough to tackle and kind of block that system a bit better this year.
Yeah.
Then they're more equipped, I should say.
I think they fly to the ball more.
Yes.
That's what they do. You see the I'm going to start calling them the Ministry of Defense because we've got a missile in there. We've got an Area 51 in there.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a nickname that Darren and I put them to, but they fly to the ball.
Yes.
And if one grabs hold, you've got 4 more that are heading there to put a smack on them.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. You're talking about that Midland team. They played South Lake Carroll, Pebble Hills, Amarillo, Montwood, who they beat.
Right.
And then they played Inglewood. Not shabby teams.
No.
And not bad losses with the exception of playing Carroll, who's like playing the Dallas
Weren't they
Cowboys.
10-0 about 3 years ago or something like that?
What's that?
Midland High?
Midland High?
When they won the district?
Their best record last 6 years have been 9-3 in 2023.
Yeah, that was it. They were close.
Yeah, they were pretty good. Yeah, that was the first year they switched to that flex bone scheme,
right.
and
Had an awesome quarterback and a receiver.
And the running back was really good. I believe he's playing for UTEP right now, I believe. So they don't have him, at least, thankfully, this year. But yeah, I really do think they could fight Midland High and Friendship for that 3rd spot. Because Friendship, I just don't think they have the firepower that they've had in the previous years. And I think the Bobcats are more equipped to defend against that flex bone this year. And I believe both of those games are at home, if I'm right. Or no, Midland's on the road.
Midland's home.
Is Midland home?
Legacy's at home. Both are at home. Both Midlands are at home.
Both Midlands
and
are
then
home,
Friendship is the other home district games.
Yeah. Okay.
Both Odessa games are on the road.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, so that's why I thought, both of those games being at home this year, I really do think, again, they just got to limit the explosives. Because we saw that against Belton. They blew the doors off of Belton, but an explosive play here and there. If they could just limit those plays in district, continue to be aggressive on offense and defense, control the game. That's how Coach Smith wants to win. I really do think they got a shot at 3.
I can't help but agree. I mean, I think I have. And of course, I may be just a little bit of biased glasses on, but I put me in 1. I do have Central 2, and I have Legacy 3. I mean, for those of you who don't know and don't understand the joke we were talking about earlier, Legacy or Lee, however you prefer to call them now,
they're going through an
identity going back to it.
Right now.
We were on Legacy's schedule non-district schedule prior to the technical issues. So going through it one more time, they're 1-4, which you may be wondering, hey, why are they 1-4? Well, let's go through it. Open the season 3 straight road games at Allen, Euless, Trinity, Lake Travis. Very big powerhouses here in the state of Texas. Hosted Abilene, got a big win there, and then played Ruston, Louisiana, who is nationally ranked, won their state championship. I think you were telling me that last year, and that was not as close, but it's obvious that this Legacy team is getting tested every single week, and it's prepping them perfectly for district play. And here's the counter argument. Arthur and I were talking about it prior to the show, regards to Central, maybe where they may end up, whether it's Legacy or Central 2 and 3 there, right? Central, correct me if I'm wrong, please, because I certainly can be. Central has lost to the teams that were directly below them, but has beaten the teams below that, correct? Waco, Belton were 5A Division 2.
Correct.
While Abilene and Amarillo were 5A Division 1.
Correct.
So do y'all think, honestly, and this is just me asking, not trying to, rage bait anybody, do y'all think that may play a hand in how this district plays out? Because we see the Legacies and the Permians, or mainly Legacy, playing those really high-level teams compared to Central, who they're playing some solid teams, but they're not like the same level 6A big powerhouse programs.
Well, I think what you do is you have to look at, we always talk about the Big Mo. Central's coming in riding a 2-game winning streak.
That's true.
So they're coming in with the Mo on their side. Whether they keep that going in and going up against, everybody that they're going up against, they're going to play Lee, Legacy, Lee, whatever we want to call them, the first game of the season.
All right.
That's going to be a litmus test there.
Yeah.
And I think them coming in riding the Big Mo. Now, tomorrow night, Lee is playing Laredo Martin. Not another little bitty school to be beaten on. that team's very good too. So are they going to come in riding that, oh, can we do it? Or are they going to come in going, oh, we got this one with Central?
Why are they
It's
playing
not a
tomorrow
problem.
night? If
Oh,
everybody's
they're playing tonight. I'm sorry.
Oh.
They're playing
By
tonight.
the way, why are they playing that?
But why? But I thought they were playing 5
that might
games.
be-
That date shows that they're playing the day before.
Yeah,
This is
I think
day
that
9.
I think that might be an error on Max Brown.
Yeah.
That's an error on Max Prep. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
Why are you
sorry.
playing a game
I'm
the day
sorry.
before district
No,
opens
My
up?
bad.
Because then they wouldn't.
that's
they
your-
would.
that's Max Brown.
That's Max
Yeah,
Prep's
that's Max
bad. Okay, so anyways, they're off tonight, this week, but
I gotta see it.
they're going to come in. See? You know, now this Max Prep's
I
messing
know,
with me.
Mr. Max Preps over here loves
Yeah.
looking at this stuff.
The district should be on an open week.
Right.
Yeah,
They
all
should
the
be.
district is.
That's
should
why
be
I'm
open.
like,
Yeah, they're all open.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'd be-
but anyway,
And
the
I don't
main
know.
reason
not a
why,
shabby team either. You know?
No, right? No.
If they were playing them,
Yeah.
not a shabby team.
Absolutely.
But they're going to come in having gotten trounced by that Ruston team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I say trounce, 49-21. That's pretty big trouncing.
Yeah.
But, you know, are they going to be, oh, well, it's Central. We can push them over. You know, last year Central was in every game. Coach Smith is an excellent halftime adjuster. He makes those adjustments. Coach Martin's an excellent halftime adjustment. And they're going to make those adjustments to where I think San Angelo Central is going to sneak up on some teams that are going to think,
I think so.
they're not that good or whatever. And got to hand it to Micah Smith. Not a great outing his first, incredible outing.
Yes.
And looking at some of his numbers and passer stats, incredible. He has, you know, a whole slew of receivers and running backs. We got a 3-headed monster coming out of the backfield with D-Train, Z-Train, and Elijah. I mean, you've got that whole group. And then you go down to the wide receivers. Pick one that hadn't made an outstanding catch or scored a touchdown this year.
Right.
I mean, it's just going to be – this is going to be an exciting team to watch on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think the advantage that Central has, especially in this first game, is it's coming off of an open week. Mm-hmm. And like you said, they've got the momentum of the 2 games that they've won, the 3 games in a row that they've won.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's you can surprise a Midland. They did last year. I mean, depending on who's calling the game, what's happening with the situation on the field, with the Zebras on the field, that game could have gone differently. That we really could have started the Mark Smith era with a district win in Midland against Midland Legacy, and just didn't go that way. And I think this year, I definitely know this year, Coach Smith is ready to play this team again. So, you know, again, if they could prove me wrong, they could prove everybody wrong if they come out and they beat Legacy week 1, and that really gives them a leg up in the playoff conversation, because all you have to do to get into the playoffs in this league is win 2 games. 2 games.
Yeah,
If you
2
can win
games.
2 games, you get into the playoffs. Now,
Unless there's a tie or
Now,
something.
that does grace you with the presence of the top seed of the other district there. But
still, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you get in there. It's what
Yeah,
matters.
you
It's not
know,
like
get in.
Lakeview's going to
They
play
come out
Steve
against El Paso.
Oh my God,
their
they're
first.
first.
And
Yeah.
it's progress. You know, we've talked about this all night, about letting the coaches make progress in your program. You're not always going to see immediate winning when a new coach comes in, but you see improvement year by year by year. And getting to the playoffs this year would be a massive improvement from where this team was when Coach Smith took over.
Yeah.
And you know, I think the attitude has changed. I think the kids have changed a lot. I mean, they're a lot bigger, a lot more physically ready to play these big 6-man schools like a Legacy, a Permian, you know, consistently and really battle with them. I mean, they battled them with them last year, and it was his first year.
Yeah.
So, you know, I really do think this team is in a great spot to compete. I just personally believe at this point, Permian and Legacy kind of just they've got that chokehold on this district right now, and Central could be the team to kind of break it up, or be consistent in breaking it up, because obviously Friendship has been sort of either 1, 2, or 3, 4 for the past couple of years. They haven't really been able to consistently chip away at that number 1 spot, but maybe Central could be that team now.
And I think that you can't count out Friendship.
Right.
It's very possible that that last game of the season could come down to, hey, okay, this is
Winner take all,
this is for 3 or this is for 4. I mean, 3 or 4 matchup here. I think that's a very realistic possibility. But I also think, like you said, Coach Smith has this team in a different mindset, a different way. They talk different, they walk different. You see them coming onto the field and they approach things differently. I talk to Coach Smith all the time about, I love his pregame ritual.
Right.
His warm-up is very matter of fact, by step by step by step, and regimented. And he is, hey, this is the way it is. And he's regimented with how he sees things before the game. So I think it's a very business-oriented atmosphere. Right. And I think that he has those boys thinking, this is business, and our business is to win football.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully it's happened.
Yeah. So, all right, fellas, anything else? We went over it a little bit, but that's okay. It was, we'll blame it on technical difficulties. But we went over a little bit. Next week, we'll have some matchups. I'm sure this Midland Legacy, Lee, whoever they're calling themselves, Identity Crisis team, and San Angelo Central will be maybe our game of the week. Who knows? A lot can happen between now and then. We will have Wall tomorrow night. I will be on the call with Russ. Get to reunite with Russ. He and I haven't done a game since our AFL days. So,
oh boy,
that was we go way back to where we watched people try to kill each other in an ice rink. And y'all have Lakeview
and Burn It.
That's right.
That'll be at San Angelo
I was
Stadium.
double checking to make sure that you remembered who they were.
Of course, I know. I know dang good well.
Both of those games tomorrow night on Concho Sports Network. You can see them both. You can hear us. Paul, which game are you going to be at?
I'm going to be Lakeview Burn It. Couldn't miss it.
So Paul's going to be there. If you see
Wait,
Paul,
you were 0-1 with you there. Never, maybe don't go.
Wait, no, I was there during the Lubbock win. I was right on the sideline.
1-1. We'll take it.
We'll see what his
we'll take it. If you see Paul, say hey. If you walk past the press box and you see these clowns sitting up there, wave to them, throw stuff at them, whatever you want.
Take food.
They take food. That's right. The simple things in life.
Hey.
We appreciate y'all being here. Paul, is always great to be here. Art, great to be here. Chad, welcome back. Glad you could join us again. Missed you last week, but this is we have a lot of fun. Last week we talked about if you want to sponsor us and get your advertising out there, we'll sure talk about you while we're in here talking.
Oh, 100%.
So join us next week. Join us tomorrow night. But next week, we'll see you then. On behalf of all these guys, I'm Arlen Ponder. We'll be seeing you.